to be 14-4 with everything that's going on. It's just a credit to the coaching staff, more so to the players and Jason Light and everybody having this roster, and we talked in the locker room after the game. You put that Bucs helmet on, there's a level of expectation. And it's not you can't be the guy you're replacing. You just got to be the best guy that you can be. And these guys have all stepped in when they've got these opportunities and done it. Don't get caught up with who's catching the ball. Just throw it to the guys that are open. And don't force it downfield, because you can get just as many yards dinking and dunking, making first downs. And, it's watching him play. He's a surgeon. Like I said, he's going to figure you out. If you're going to play two deep shell, if you're rotating, he'll figure all that out real quick. And then it's hard on the defense, that's for sure. Obviously, we got the one we like the most, and that's the no huddle. And just doing a really good job with short intermediate passes, getting it out of his hands, knowing they're going to play soft. And I thought Byron did a great job of running the ball and making them stop the run, which opened up a couple of guys one-on-one. But when you look back and do the self-scout, that's when we've been at our best this year.
Right.
And so why not do it more?
Hello, Bucs fans. We are live on Real Bucs Talk. It is a Victory Monday, and it's a huge Victory Monday because the Buccaneers took care of business against the Philadelphia Eagles in a big way. I had a feeling that defense was going to step up and show out because everyone was back and healthy. And boy, did they ever. So, again, we are live on Bucs Report, also brought to you by the Pigskin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Michael Plus, and joined as always, my co-host, Mark Ramirez. Mark, it's got to feel good to, again, find a way, this team finding a way to win and heading into the divisional round, which will also be at Raymond James Stadium. Mm-hmm. It's really nice to say that.
Heck yeah. I mean, to be honest, let's put it this way. There was one hell of a playoff game. I mean, you're up 31-0. This is the playoffs. This is where teams really they crunch down and they analyze every little thing. Obviously, Tom did it offensively and just dissecting the Eagles defense. And we'll talk more about that. But this was a total domination for like 3 quarters. And they're like, okay, we'll just let a couple things in. So at no point was I worried. And that's kind of crazy to think. And it's the playoffs. But in Ray J, awesome vibe, awesome atmosphere. I loved it. Whoever was there, I know you felt it too. It was awesome. But, 31-15, insane. I just jumping off what I was saying, Tom Brady and what BA is mentioning, he's a surgeon. I mean, even the defensive coordinator of the Eagles was saying prior to the week that he's a trained killer.
Yeah.
And boy, did he chop him up. He literally easily read it. I was at the top. I was in 300 level, plus is down low. We split up the seats this time. And literally, you could see if they're playing back 2, I'm going to get this ball out quick. They're kind of too high, it's coming out quick. The second they bring one in, Evans, okay, go ahead. Go across the field. I'll hit you. His perfection, the decision-making, just understanding when to push it, when not to. I loved it. Offensively, they did it. Defensively, you get your guys back, and look what happens. Number one, run defense from years past comes back, looks insane. Devin White looks insane. Jordan Whitehead near the line. I mean, they were all playing like with a meaning, and I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this was the first home playoff win for this franchise since 2002, which is crazy. Over 20 years ago, I haven't had a home playoff win. And for the fans yesterday, it was electric. The flags were waving around, and it was just it was a very cool scene, especially after that first drive. The Bucs just go right down the field, obviously get a beneficial call and roughing the passer, on Tom, and it was the right call. They continue to move, and Gio Bernard and Keyshawn Vaughn, I thought, played outstanding. And obviously we had the early scare with Tristan Wirfs going down on the first drive. So really, those are things we're going to talk about tonight. As what can this offensive line do if they do have to play without a Tristan Wirfs or a Ryan Jensen as well? It's going to be every week as we get, as they move on, or, just this next week coming up, it's going to be very difficult as it is in the playoffs as you continue to climb those mountains that you face each round. Also, we'll cover a little bit of the Arizona LA Ram game that's going on right now. I think the Rams are up 7-0, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll give you updates on that as well. But yeah, like Mark said, defensively, it was a great game plan, and I thought they had all the answers for Jalen Hurts. Again, Jalen, not a guy that reads the field very quickly. So you take away those first options, usually he's going to struggle, and that's what took place yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, like I mentioned earlier, you get 3 pretty much Pro Bowlers back in Shaq
Mhm.
Barrett, JPP, and Levante David. Yes, they were on a snap count. BA mentioned it. Levante played more than half the snaps. I think he said like what, more than 35 snaps. But either way, you could just see the difference in the vibe, the knowing where to be in your spot. You didn't see
Mhm.
Devin White arguing with players about where to be. And that's something he mentioned in his press conference too. It's like, why did Devin White show up this time? Well, I mean, he was playing his assignment and doing what he had to do instead of trying to make up for other areas where people weren't knowing where to be. And that's huge when you can play your assignment in the scheme, not trying to be Superman, which we always talk about. And it was huge. Jamel Dean balled out. Mike Edwards, interception. Shaq even got an interception. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good things in that defense. They were just flying around doing the things that they're normally doing because they're healthy. Pretty much everyone was back. I mean, maybe not at 100% capacity, but they were all back and they all know where to be. These are like the smarter guys. There wasn't big difference between starter and then rookie, first year player, or just someone that's kind of filling in. So it was huge on the defensive side. I'll let you touch more on that.
Yeah, again, I was on a couple Eagles podcasts this past week, and just I was telling them, I was like, a lot of people are talking about how the run defense, hasn't been very good the last 8 weeks or whatever, finishing, in top 15 or whatever it was. And there was the stats of us, very bad against the outside runs. I think we're like 30th in yards allowed in that category. But I was telling him, I was like, okay, we're getting Levante David back for this game. Shaq Barrett's going to be in there, JPP. Those 3 guys, like you said, it impacts your whole front 7 because you're allowed to rotate guys in like Anthony Nelson and JTS, and Devin White's allowed to play more calm and more collected and really just focus on his job and not try to do too much where he's trying to overcompensate for a Kevin Minter because he's not as athletic or aware as a Levante David. So having those guys in there, and then you add in a Jordan Whitehead who can play more in the box because of said Mike Edwards, and they had Antoine Winfield playing nickel in this game, which I thought was outstanding. Sean Murphy Bunting couldn't play, so just the use of their back 7 and the secondary was really good in this game, and I thought they played very well. So defensively, just like A's across the board. Obviously gave up the touchdowns there at the end, but game was pretty much over. And they were daring the Eagles to, pretty much pass the ball, and the Eagles decided not to. But overall, I thought it was just a complete game, complimentary football all the way across.
Yeah, and I was just kind of highlighting these things. I mean, look at Mike Edwards, 9 tackles. Look at the tackles for loss. I mean, you have Edwards with 1, Whitehead 2,
Right.
Devin White 1, Winfield Jr. 1. I mean, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, he had how many passes deflected there were. I mean, there was hands all over the place. There was just tackles behind the line.
Right.
This is literally what you want to see from an attacking defense that's forcing their will, not playing passive, not being back, allowing the other team to kind of enforce their will. This is what we want to see. When you're healthy, you have JTS kind of shadowing the quarterback, doing things where you can use creative ways with JTS. He's almost like an additional piece. What are you going to do with him? He can go in. You can also spy the quarterback. If there is, dare we say, Kyler Murray next week, or if it is Matthew Stafford, his foot's hurting too. I mean, send in the dog. I mean, this is what we can do with this defense, and it's Jordan Whitehead on the line is phenomenal. I love seeing it. They mentioned it in the press conference how using Whitehead on the line in the dime package,
Mm-hmm.
something we've been talking about for months, let
Yeah.
alone years probably. And he plays like a linebacker. So why the hell not use him in that fashion? And it just looks good. I mean, the defense is now almost fully healthy and just keep rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And guys, again, we appreciate you joining us here
Yeah.
live on Real Bucks Talk. Again, a lot of good comments here in the section. A lot of people are pumped about being in the next round, as well as who we're going to face coming up. So obviously, let's see. Let's just go through here. Worse, we don't have any updates as of yet. That's probably going to come later in the week, probably closer to Friday. Bruce Arians talked about. So just got to hope for the best. Hope that swelling goes down soon and get mobility back in there.
A couple things. He
Yeah.
said he's in a boot. We won't know anything until Friday. But the
Mm,
dude tried to go back in the game. They shouldn't have let him go back in the game. And then
yeah.
Jensen
That's
went
pretty
back
cool.
and finished. Yeah,
All
Frank,
right.
that Rams game, damn.
Frank. Okay.
That's
Hey,
multitasking at its finest right there.
yeah. Doing some scouting for the enemy. Very good. Um, hey Jim, what's up, man? Yeah, Anthony Nelson again playing in that rotation now. I think it just suits him well. He can bring more energy, and I think he's doing a very good job. Uh, Talks about Mike Edwards' interception. That was a huge play in the game. Jamel Dean falls down, and Mike Edwards is right there to come across the field and pick it off. So really good job.
And that was huge. That was a heartbreaker for them too. That
Mhm,
was right before halftime, I believe. And they're hoping for some sign of a comeback or any sign of life. And Mike Edwards going clear across the screen or across the field,
mhm.
it almost looked easy. Like it was like a ball that was late and he just fell right into his arms. It's kind of
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's what, Mike does. He's a playmaker, and I love seeing him out there. So I really like the combination that they went with in the secondary, and I hope it continues. I know, SMB is probably going to be back hopefully this week, but I I wouldn't miss him if he's not out there on the field. I know he's a really good tackler, and as far as the zone corner, I think he's good. But I like the combination that with Winfield in the slot, and then also having Edwards can come down as well. I think it's a lot of good versatility there.
I mean, interchangeable pieces though.
Hmm.
Use what you have, and I don't think they're going to literally bench Mike Edwards in that fashion. I think it's just going to be more what personnel is out there and kind of use it that way.
Hmm.
If they're going to go with a lot of wide receivers out there, I mean, I'm not going to pigeonhole Mike Edwards to cover a fast, speedy receiver,
Yeah.
especially if they put Odell. If it is the Rams, they're up 14-0 now
Mm.
in the slot. I'm not going to make Mike Edwards cover Odell in the slot if they're
Yeah.
or even if they push in Cup on the inside, they move Cup everywhere.
Hmm.
Not going to ask Mike Edwards to cover him. Stay
Yeah.
on team for time. No.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching earlier, and it looks like Arizona was trying to double Cooper Cup as much as possible, and obviously, Stafford's finding other options in Beckham or Jefferson, or just running the football. So yeah, I mean, again, whoever we play next is going to be a challenge, no doubt. And really, for the Bucks, it's about who is healthy and who can be available. But, getting, just overall game, against the Eagles, I thought both sides really game planned it well. The offense I thought was smart. We heard it there. BA talk about it. The no huddle offense, that was really good to see. Play with tempo. Slow it down at times if they needed to, and really just use a quick passing game. And I think that was another factor that I mentioned to Eagles fans. It's like you guys haven't beat any team when you face a good quarterback, and obviously Tom had a field day, and just took advantage. It was good balance there, as you see, 31 attempts rushing versus 37 passes. That's the kind of stuff you want to see, and really just a really good efficient day. Mike Evans with a quiet 9 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, I mean that's really good. Gio Bernard chipping in. So Yeah. Gio, I think, is going to be another weapon where he could potentially be that kind of, over the middle type of guy where he can just be another option for Tom to hit him in different ways. And I think that's going to be very important going down the stretch.
Yeah, and it's one thing I put this on the intro for a reason.
Mm,
So they were saying how they knew what they were going to do. They're going to play deep, prevent the deep ball, and we knew that we're going to have underneath. I think every team plays us that way. Every damn team. Why don't you do this more often? Why do we wait 17 weeks for you to realize, okay, your 2-minute offense, fast-paced tempo works. Keep doing it. When there's less play calls, Tom Brady reading what's happening, we're successful. Keep doing that stuff. Hit the underneath consistently, yes, because then that big plays like the Mike Evans play will come about. I mean, there's no point in forcing it. They say it after the fact, like they do this all day, every day. No, we see it based off of Catch 22, all 22 film. You guys don't often do this. So please consistently run a game plan where you can attack their weaknesses and not just enforce your will based off of your scheme. That's one thing I think is huge that the casual fan doesn't really see that they do.
mm.
Using Gio Bernard in this fashion, amazing. Rob Gronkowski underneath, loved it. Tyler Johnson needs to catch some of these that can extend drives. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna get mad. We won the damn game. We dominated.
Yeah, I think that one with Tyler Johnson and Tom, I think it's just a chemistry thing. Tyler's got to get on the same page as Tom. He's just got to not slow down there. He needs to continue to run his route and finish it, because if he does, obviously that ball is right in his breadbasket and he can catch it much easier than trying to, pluck it out of the air. Continue to run. Don't stop. You're running towards that ball. Tom's going to lead you to the spot that he wants you to be at, and you need to, be there, because if you continue to do that, he's not going to throw you the football.
I'll be honest with this. We've had like weeks where we're saying maybe Tom has a tired arm. He's
Mm,
throwing some of these inaccurate passes. I honestly don't remember one pass where I was like, oh no. Like they were all either out early
mhm.
or when it was down the field, it was accurate and in a spot where only one of our guys could get it. I don't remember if you remember any of them like that, but he seemed locked on, like 100% locked on in this game.
Yeah, I think he was locked in from the start. I mean, maybe there was one pass to Gio Bernard early in the game. I think it was like the second play. Other than that, I thought everything was pretty much on point and target. So yeah, a lot of good stuff from Tom. Obviously there was a couple drives there where the offensive line had some mix-ups with protection and he got sacked a little bit. You don't want to see that, but going forward, I like the game plan, and obviously, we have the horses like Mike Evans and Gronk. Utilize those guys, let them be the focal points, and I thought they did a great job of finding ways to get those guys open. Obviously Gronk getting the easiest touchdown ever. That
It
you
was.
know
It was.
that yeah, that's the best thing for him, and it's really good to see those type of formations. They ran goal line formations, which we really haven't seen at all this year, and they executed it very well. Rushing touchdowns by Bernard and Vaughn, really good stuff. And then Mike, like you said, they were trying to do different things defensively, and they really had no answer. If they played man, Mike was getting the ball.
Yeah.
Cover two, it was throw underneath to running backs, tight ends, etc., or even Mike himself. So yeah, it was just a good executed plan, and I liked it. And then same thing defensively, they kept it simple. They really dared Jalen Hurts to throw it against their coverage, and their coverage matched up and made plays. They were everywhere they needed to be. So if the team can do stuff like this, I think we're going to be in good position. Obviously, if the Rams are coming to town, the offensive line is, I think, the biggest thing that we have to concern ourselves with. I mean, our offensive line. So because the Rams pass rush with Aaron Donald and then Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, etc., those guys you have to definitely account for.
And it's huge. I mean, Wells stepped in a huge way. To be honest,
Mhm.
there was not much of a drop off. And some of the, like you were mentioning earlier about some of the sacks, breakdowns, to be honest, to me, Tom looked like he was just holding it. He was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make a mistake. I'll just eat it. And that's what happened with the sack. It wasn't necessarily they just got in so fast.
Mhm.
But I mean, I thought Wells stepped in perfectly. And our running game was just as like productive and efficient as it could have been. And I liked it. Like you were saying, keep it simple. They stuck to running the ball, even though it was only 2 or 3 yard chunks. You were still
Mhm.
getting volume, and that's what is going to help eventually open up the passing game even more. I mean, Mike one-on-one wide open in the middle of the field for a big touchdown like that. That doesn't happen. That's because your running game was doing better. Krillin over here. Game looked clean. Defense was all attentive. Offense out there pumping shots and running through slots. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, even, Krillin's a big fan of Grant Stewart. Yeah, he was all over the place on special teams like always, so really good. Greg Paris, uh all college team playing the Rams. Yeah, I mean, Cardinals, they were struggling coming into this game. So I mean, it was going to be an uphill battle, but again, it's still early. I'm not sure if it's still 14-0, but
It
um,
is.
yeah. So you never know with the Cardinals. I mean, they can find ways to come back, especially with Kyler Murray and that offense. They can be explosive. So um,
The only thing
definitely,
is they don't have DeAndre Hopkins. That's your true
yeah.
number one. You're relying on AJ Green to come reach back in the what do they
The
say?
years, yeah.
Right. The time capsule, whatever the hell it is,
Hmm.
kind of pull back some of his youthful years. You can't ask him to do that. And then who's your number two after that?
Yeah,
Kirk?
Christian Kirk and
Christian Kirk? I mean,
yeah, Rondell Moore, who kind of like the same guys. So
you don't have any guys that you can truly rely on. I mean, it's Kyler Murray's gonna have to do it himself.
mhm.
But still, I mean, the Rams were up 17-0 against 49ers. What happened there?
Yeah,
I mean, their defense looked lost at times and that
right.
during that comeback. So
Yeah, maybe the Cardinals will, start running the ball. That's what they need to do
should
against the Rams. Utilize James Conner and see if you can get them to, over pursuit a little bit. Um,
look at this one.
yeah.
Murray, zero faith, dude. Looks like he's eating bacon strips.
Oh man,
Oh,
is that the dog treats?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Just a little. I mean, hey, I'll be honest. He does make some special plays.
Mhm.
If Kingsbury can kind of draw it up, make it simple. Like literally run pass options, pass run options. I mean,
Yeah.
identify one guy on the outside. If he goes after the ball carrier, you hold it. I mean, they need to simplify, especially down 14-0. It gets 21-0, then you're forced to pass. I mean, I wouldn't abandon the run just yet. But let's talk
Right.
more Buccaneer football. Let's get away from that right now.
Yeah. No, I was just people were bringing it up,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just looking at this game again, I thought the coaching staff and everyone involved was, they did the right things, and that was really nice to see. No really penalties in the game, no turnovers, so that's always huge. And yeah, I mean, they made the Eagles look, easy. To be honest, it was just very crisp and business-like approach, and that's what you want to see from the Super Bowl defending champs, and definitely made a statement.
And one thing I liked also, it was funny. I think it was the first or second punt of the Eagles.
Mhm,
Byron Leftwich getting hyped up, pointing at where the ball was at. I was like, I saw that from my spot. I'm like, what
mhm.
the hell is that? I mean, it seemed like everyone was mind right. Everyone knew what their point was, where their job had to be. And like BA said, it's something I've been saying for all year. We got to change the standard on this team. It can't be, oh, we're good. We're gonna expect the other team just to bow down because we're the Super Bowl champs. No, you need to know when you strap up, you get on the field, you need to perform every damn time. It's not this half-ass shit or we're gonna play half of a game. No, we got 60 minutes to go. I don't want to hear, oh, we're down 21. Now we're gonna come back though. Don't worry. We should never be down like that. You should be turned on from the second it says go. And they were.
Mhm,
No doubt, both sides of the ball, all three phases. I mean, even Scotty Miller with Johnny on the spot on the special teams fumble right there. I mean, that was awesome. Every facet of the game, the Bucks excelled. I loved it.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, that was a huge play in the game. Scotty Miller, making sure the Bucs recovered that muff punt, and because that really changed the game. I mean, we went down after recovering that, scored. I believe that was to the Gronk touchdown, and then obviously the later in the game, Shaq Barrett getting his interception, Mike Evans scores directly after. So yeah, those were huge, just turning points of the game, huge turnovers, and really just like Mark said, they took care of business. That's what you wanted to see, and again, just well executed game plan. Tom Brady, the running game, offensive line doing enough, and then defensively, being what really they've done all year, and with new guys in there too, and then getting the legit starters back in there with what we expected to see from the beginning, but just injuries said nope, not today. But you know, having them back was just gigantic, and this defense did it last year in the playoffs, and it seems like they're doing the same damn thing this year. They just turn on that switch and it's fire those cannons, and they did.
Woo! Yeah, I like Devin White and Jordan Whitehead. That first drive
Mhm.
was insane. They were jumping around, running like hype train and everything. And JPP looked like he had his step back. It wasn't this slow old man that was a
Mhm.
shell of himself. He was getting through, he's getting pressure. Arms were up, if you believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he may have not gotten a sack, but still, I saw the pressures. I saw things where there was a motor. Like
Mhm.
it's not like he was running on one leg or one arm. He actually showed he needed that rest, and he came out. And what's good is they played limited snaps. Next game, there's going to be more. They'll
Yeah.
know what their body can do, and they can push it even more. And Shaq
Right.
looked like he had no ill effects from that knee. I'll just say
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that was a concentrated effort by the coaching staff to have them on limited snaps. I think same thing with Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh. They didn't play much. I think a lot of them, maybe all of them played like 30 snaps. So it was a real rotation where, JTS, Cam Gill, Anthony Nelson were all playing. Same thing with McClendon and Nunez Roches. So like Mark said, as we get into this week, I'm sure those numbers will increase and they'll get more reps to really rush the passer and try to, affect the quarterback more, because it seemed like in this game they were kind of holding JPP and Shaq Barrett more, like keeping them to make sure that they contained and keep Jalen Hurts inside the pocket. I think that was their main focus. They weren't really like just letting go all blazing. You could see it on a couple plays, and I think for the most part they did a good job of making Jalen throw the football. And then late in the game, they really started bringing some pressures and getting hits on Jalen. So, uh,
Look at the snap count here on the screen.
mhm,
I mean, Vita Vea was only in on 28 snaps. Of the 66 snaps, he was in 28, less than 50%, 42. It's
yep,
crazy. Think about it. And we still had that huge of an influence on the defense. Sue, only 32, 48, again, less than 50. They were just moving these guys in and out like nonstop. Like that's huge on coaching. That's saying, no, you need to get out here, fresh body. We got the horses to run this. Let's keep doing it.
mhm,
And that's huge by your coaching staff right there. That's grade A right there. That's doing
yeah.
your job.
Yeah, no, it was really cool, and they even had some, dime packages in there with 4 safeties on the field, which was, really nice to see, and I hope they incorporate that more, especially if they play a team like the Rams, where you really wanna maximize coverage and find a way to get after the quarterback, or even, Kyler Murray, because you want more speed on the field. So I love it when they have, Whitehead as the inside linebacker, and you're playing more safeties back there and have more coverage. So that was really cool. So yeah, I mean, it was just really cool to see everything come together. Atmosphere, like we said, was fantastic. uh, Shout out to all the fans. Apparently there was a lot of fights. I did not see any of them.
I saw something on Facebook about that.
Yeah, apparently there was a lot of fights around the stadium. Obviously Eagles fans were there, and they were upset. That's too bad. Long flight home, but thank you for the cash, and we'll take it. So, um,
It was funny. So
yeah.
a buddy that I brought, he's like, "Should I bring batteries?" He's like, Eagles fan are known for throwing batteries.
Hmm.
Like, but when we drove up, it looked like it was packed Eagles. Like, I saw nothing but green. I'm like, "What the hell is all this shit? We're gonna lose the home field advantage because everyone wanna make a quick buck? Like, come on now."
Hmm.
And I guess it was just people showing up in the outskirts because in the tailgates, it was all Bucks. It was all Bucks. Once I got in, I saw a sea of red. I mean, it looked a lot better. Some of the areas of fights, I know there wasn't in ours because they already knew it was over early. I was kinda
Hmm.
laughing the whole time, flaring the
Yeah.
flags. All the seats that were Eagles were gone, like, literally in the second quarter.
Hmm.
Uh, I was good. I mean, I didn't feel any rain. I just felt pure bliss. That's all I felt.
Yeah, I think there was it was funny. There was one Eagles fan like all the way in the front row, and he had one jersey on in the first half, and then I come back later in the second half. He's got a whole new jersey on. It's Eagles jersey, but it's just like a brand new jersey. I think it was like a Gardner Minshew jersey that was on him, which was kind of funny. Uh, but yeah, there was, again, I guess, when you have alcohol flowing and all that stuff, fights are going to happen. Um, but I just thought it was funny. I was like, where were all these fights taking place? I didn't see any of them. But anyway, I thought the our fans were outstanding as always, and they did a great job, and it was a well deserved win by the Buccaneers. But a lot of people in the chat are talking about how the Rams were not going to beat them. I'm like, well, let's wait and see, guys.
Okay,
You know,
so to be honest, let's pump it on over to the what's going on. It is
mm,
21-0.
okay.
Yeah, Stafford's numbers look gaudy over here. We got
Hmm.
67, 93 yards, a touchdown. Sever got a rushing touchdown on the one. But they just scored because Kyler Murray's dumbass just threw a 3-yard interception.
Interception. Mm,
Dumb decision. Don't do that, especially in the playoffs. Yeah, that just can't happen. You just gave away the ball. I mean, so I'm not necessarily worried about their defense with forgive me, let me retract that. I'm worried if our offensive line isn't
mhm,
up to par. Then I'm very worried. But if
yeah.
their secondary, their 2 safeties are out. They called in, Eric Weddle.
Yeah.
Ian called him, said, "Are you fat? You ready to go? Or you're not fat? Come on in." Took
Yeah.
years off. I mean, your 2 safeties are out. Brady's gonna pick that apart.
Mhm,
To me, that's a good thing in my opinion. Uh, but it all matters if Wirfs and Jensen can go and give Brady the time to read that position down the field.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't count us out ever. I mean, they're still loaded. Tom Brady's your quarterback. Your defense is playing lights out right now, and they're getting healthy. Do
Mhm.
not at all count the Bucks out in any game.
Yeah, I wouldn't count them out, especially when we have an opportunity to get, Leonard Fournette back, maybe Ronald Jones, and maybe Sean Murphy Bunting as well. So, uh, most likely. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, just don't count us out because first of all, you have number 12, who's, the greatest in playoffs. And then you also have JPP, who hasn't lost a playoff game. So you got that going for you. There's just a lot of good things, you know, that this team can present. And obviously, yes, it will be a difficult matchup against the Rams. The Rams have given us trouble over the last couple of years. But again, this is playoffs. It's a different phase of the year, different focus, just different overall energy and mentality. So I would expect the Bucks to, be ready for whoever it's going to be, and it should be electric once again in Raymond James Stadium.
And that's the hugest point right there.
Yep.
It will be in Ray J.
Yeah,
Ray
Ray
J.
J and a short week for the Rams.
Yeah.
They have to fly east to us, which is another, tough thing to do. So you're traveling to Tampa on a short week, afternoon game as well. And yeah, I mean, Bucks should have, I think, a really good shot. And again, now it comes down to, like Mark said, the offensive line. If the offensive line is healthy, then that's going to make the difference.
Krillin, you making some funny comments down in the chat. But
Curlin's ready.
again, say we lost to the Rams in the regular season. That's the regular season. We also got slaughtered by the Saints twice, both years, both Tom Brady years. We just can't beat them. But the second you get into the playoffs, a whole other ordeal. I mean, the scheming gets better. The seriousness and how much they buckle down gets better, more involved, more laser focus. Tom Brady, you've seen that little laser eyes thing he puts out there. Turns into a different animal. Our defense sets up even more. I mean, if Stafford's hobbling around, our defense is going to get after him. Look at it from that facet, not just Tom's not going to be able to go with Wirfs and Jensen down. What if our defense gets turnovers? What if we get short fields and we just kind of win that in that fashion? Just don't turn the ball over and we keep pushing it that way. At home, it's just huge. I don't think you guys realize maybe it's the years and years of losing that not knowing what home field advantage does for you. But when they're inside the 20, the house is rocking. No one can hear jack shit. I mean, good luck when you're down in the red zone. You got the pirate shit blowing in your ear. It's something surreal, like crazy, and it's awesome to be a witness of. And good luck to any playoff team that's going to come in here and try and take us down that way.
No, I agree, because you look at our home record, 8-1 so far. We play really damn good there. I mean, averaging, again, another 31-point game. I think that's second most in playoff history as far as the consecutive games. I think it's 5 straight now. So, I mean, they find ways to put up points at home, and they find a way to not allow a lot. You know, I think the margin is 33 points per game on offense and only 17 points allowed. And that held true yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, I like our chances at home. I don't care if it's the Cardinals or the Rams. You know, I like how the coaching staff is dialing things up. I think they've figured things out, and maybe they were all along holding things back. You know, obviously we don't like to say that, but you know, this staff is smart. They understand, you know, what they have to do and what fits best. And you know, obviously we're seeing that with the no huddle offense, the utilization of Mike, Gronk, running game coming along. Now it's about you know, just going out there and executing that plan, defensively getting after it.
And that is a huge talking point. I know we touched it earlier. I mean, Mike and Gronk, those are plenty enough weapons that anyone could ever ask for. I mean, the Saints go deep in the playoffs when they had Drew Brees with just Michael Thomas and Kamara. That's literally all they've had for years. And they just make it work. 2 guys. We have 2 Hall of Fame guys, not to mention you're likely getting Lenny Fournette back. You have all-world quarterback in Tom Brady. You have an offensive line, if healthy, that is pretty much the tops in the league. And you have guys that know how to get open down the field. Hopefully Cyril Grayson's back as well. You get that connection back. So speed and space is there. Using Geo, good God. Good luck. I mean, I know he got hurt in that game, right? That's the one he got hurt at. They just don't run at his knee. So
yeah, they did.
I mean, maybe there's stuff in there. He's like, oh no, I want to stomp this team because they're hunting. So let me hunt right back. So I mean, there's a whole lot of areas where we can attack. It's just our O-line. Just don't worry about that all week.
Yeah, guys, please send out the prayers. Do the circle of prayer for Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen. Hopefully they can heal up very quickly. You know, TB12, I'm sure, is working on them. Alex Guerrero, I'm sure, is getting the acupuncture and all that good stuff that he needs to do to get it cleaned up. But yeah, I mean, just a great win for this franchise. It was really nice to see. And you know, the Eagles, like, you know, going forward, I think they're going to be in good hands with Jalen Hurts. I talked about it a lot. That guy's an exceptional leader and just a very good person first, but then also a heck of a talent. And I think he'll be okay. They just got to get a little bit more around him. And I think the Eagles will definitely be fine. And obviously the bonus for them is they have 3 first-round picks. So that's always nice to go into the offseason and, you know, build on your team. But, you know, back to the Bucs, I just couldn't be more happier. I thought they put everything together. It was a nice just well executed game, and it's quite different from what we saw last year in the wild card against Washington, on the road and a little bit closer. But it was also a game where I felt, the Bucs controlled the whole way, and that's what happened in this one.
I'm looking at the Rams game right now, though. Sorry to
Mhm.
go off topic, just because everyone's so hurting about it. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the Cardinals. They don't have much in pass rushers. Yeah, you have Chandler Jones. You got one dude. If you're relying on him only, I mean, it's not. You can't make a pass rush out of nothing.
Right.
So we can attack from anywhere, and that's the scary thing with our defense. Interchangeable, where you're bringing safeties, corners, let Devin White in the A gaps. You have Sue and Vita Vea that can launch your centers into the air and then get around you. So look at our defensive line, our front seven, and then look at the Cardinals. I mean, they're playing so much zone because they can't match up with all the speed that the Rams have, and then the motioning that they're giving. They're just trying not to get beat with man. So
Yeah.
it's just we're going to get in faster than what the Cardinals are doing right now, and they're playing too much back, way too much. But
Yeah.
thankfully they got off the field.
Yeah, no, I agree there. When I look at, our defensive backs and how they match up against the Rams receivers, I think we have a good thing there because Carlton Davis is very physical. Also, Jamel Dean is a physical corner. So I think you look at those guys, they can, if we want to play some press coverage with zone, over the top, we can do so. Obviously getting Sean Murphy Bunting back, that adds more versatility where we can play some more, flood zone underneath and have guys there to take away the short stuff that the Rams like to do. And then, try to match up and just different, facets of, how they want to attack. But like you said, Levante and Devin White, I think blitzing makes a huge difference. Shaq Barrett has kind of struggled against Rob Havenstein, who's their right tackle. The Rams have a really good pass blocking offensive line. I think they're like right behind us as far as best offensive line and pass protection. So it'll be a challenge, but I like with our big guys up front, I think we can push the pocket and, obviously get Stafford to move around and hopefully force them into some, mistakes going forward.
I mean, it's a team game. I mean, yeah, you can't isolate Shaq alone. Yes, he's a big money player. He has that 19.5 sack aura over him that everyone
Mm.
expects the same thing. I still think he will shine. His effort is always there. If he's going to get 2 or 3 sacks in this game, who knows? But I guarantee he's going to be pushing the pocket. He's not going to get manned up and thrown to the ground. Like,
Mhm.
let's put it that way, in that fashion. But I mean, I'm looking at these passes. Kyler Murray has 2 interceptions, one for a touchdown. It was a bull crap. He just underthrew it in the air just to throw it away. Got intercepted. And gosh, like you can't make dumb mistakes like that in the playoffs. Brady don't do that.
No,
He should.
and yeah, and the Cardinals offensive line is not the Bucs offensive line. Even if the Bucs offensive line is injured, still a better unit than what the Cardinals have. And again, Kyler, it's tough for him because he's 5'8", at best, and it's tough for him to see from inside the pocket, and then he's got to roll around and make things happen that way. So if Kyler doesn't have that first option available, it's tough for him to really sustain from inside the pocket there.
And again, you can manufacture pressure in certain ways, guys. I mean, singling out one guy to get pressure. That's why I'm saying with like the Cardinals and Chandler Jones, you can't expect Chandler Jones to go light it up when
Yeah.
everyone knows the same
Well,
thing.
I was just talking about the past. Like, Shaq has struggled against their right tackle before, but again, like you said, it's going to take a team effort. They're going to utilize more, I think, games along the defensive front where we, use a lot more stunts and twists and stuff like that, and probably send blitzes from everywhere that Todd Bowles likes to do. And also, got to remember, I think the Bucs are way more healthier than they were in this first matchup in week 3. I think Carlton Davis went out very early in that game. So he didn't play.
Too, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people, was hurt. And then offensively, had a dud where he just couldn't really figure anything out. So I expect things to be different, going around this time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Brady give him any time to kind of study, diagnose, and understand, okay, where did I mess up last time? I'm going to fix it this time.
Mm.
I truly value that. I mean, we've seen it happen. And then to get even more firepower back with Lenny, hopefully. I don't know where Rojo's at, but Cyril Grayson, if he's coming back,
Mm.
just give more of the thoroughbreds, the speed and space, the stuff like that where Brady has confidence in these guys. You don't have to force feed Evans or Gronk, even though they are there.
Yeah.
Wait for them to get doubled and attack over the top. I mean, there's
Right.
areas to attack on anywhere on the field.
And again, this could be the game where Scotty Miller
Yeah.
shows up. He's starting to get more involved in the offense. He had a couple catches, I think, yesterday, and also had, an end around. So there's starting to slowly get him more back into the game and, become an option. And obviously, with the struggles of Tyler Johnson with dropping the football, they're looking for a number 2 guy to step up behind Mike Evans. So again, that window I think is going to be open, and it's going to be by committee right now. And so we'll see how they utilize all of them. Mesh routes, I think, are going to be something we'll see more of. Hopefully, drag routes, stuff like that, over routes. It should be a good one.
Yeah. I mean, offensively, we know what we can do. It's just attack and execute. That's the biggest thing that's always going to be with the Bucs offense. It's executing your plan and execute. Don't get away from the running game, because when we do that, we talk about the other team getting one-dimensional. When we do it, it's bad too. That's when Brady starts throwing interceptions. We don't want that. Oh, here we go. Vito will be key. We'll need pressure coming up in the middle. And he's always the key. That's why he got that much money, because he is that important to this defense. And he's going to play a lot more snaps this game. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. Yeah, just going through the comments here. Again, we appreciate it, guys. A lot of good stuff in here. Again, we're live here on Real Bucks Talk. Also, before we go, I just want to throw out our promo code with the Pigskin Podcast Network. Be sure to sign up on DraftKings Sportsbook. Go on there and sign up, and you can just bet $1 and you have a chance to win $100 in free bets. It's a great time of year to, obviously put some bets on these playoff games, and you can do, any kind of bet. You can do the prop bets, which are really fun. I think those are the best ones to get some, easy cash. So that's something to look at. And there it is right there, as Mark's got it on the screen. So yeah, just go there, DraftKings.com, use that code, and it's a lot of good deals there for you guys to utilize. But yeah, just, summing it up here again, we appreciate all you guys joining us. I think we're going to wrap it up here as we get ready to watch the rest of this Rams Cardinals game. It looks like it's going to be pretty much the Rams on Sunday at 3:00 against the Buccaneers. Can't wait. Should be a great game. We'll try, maybe we can do some type of live stream later in the week to break that down. We'll also have our film studies coming out from this past game, really go more in depth of what the offense and the defense did. And we'll probably kind of keep it the same, where we highlight, best player of the game and really go into that, more as we go forward here into the postseason.
Absolutely. I hope you guys enjoy it and like the different type of kind of layout we're doing with the film studies. I mean, the whole team, that's a whole lot of talking. I think you guys want the short and sweet. Let us know in the comments if you want specific things. Always let us know. We use you guys as our inspiration and drive the channel. So thank you for everything you guys always do in the chat, and always kind of keeping us laughing too, even through some of the hard times and some of the good.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you guys so much. With that said, everyone have a great night. Go Bucks, and we'll see you on the next time.
Cobra Kai.